and welcome to my video on how to practice scales. In this video I will show you some methods of how I practice scales, most of which I got from Ruggiero Ricci and some I got from other teachers. I will be demonstrating in this video on the same G major scale in first position that I showed you in my video scales 1 and 2, but you can use these methods for any type of scale practice. We're going to start off with slow practice in this video as a preparation for fast scale work, which we'll be doing in the next video. The first thing I always do when I practice scales is to start off very slowly in double stops, slurring each note together so that I don't have the bow change and the finger change at the same time. That has the advantage that if I'm changing my bow and I'm not changing my finger as well, I can concentrate on a nice smooth bow change. And the same thing with the finger. If I'm changing my finger and I don't have to change my bow as well, I can concentrate completely on that. So this is always how I start. In this method, you can give yourself plenty of time. It's important to stay on the note until it's in tune. So literally, stay on it until it's in tune. Don't worry about any kind of rhythm. Stay on the note until it's in tune. Use multiple bows. Make sure you play with a good sound because that makes it easier to hear. And give yourself as much time as you need, as long as you end up with the note being in tune. The next thing I do is actually the same scale in double stops, but I practice it catching the string before I play the note. And I give myself only one bow per note so that I can practice the correction speed. I'll show you first and then I'll explain a little bit about it. So what I do is catch the string. The point of catching the string is that it teaches you to have your finger down before you start playing the note, because the catching of the string is a preparation and your finger has to be down already. So you're training yourself to have your left hand move before your right hand. That's very important for violin playing. The other thing which this does is by giving myself only one bow, I have to hurry up with listening and correcting. So of course, if you can't get it right, you can obviously use another bow. But the goal is to hear and hear if it's in tune or not, and if it's not in tune, to correct, and all that within one bowing. So you're working at your correction speed. The next thing I do is something I actually didn't get from Ruggiero Ricci, but from a Romanian teacher I worked with. I like this method very, very much because what it does, it trains you to practice getting from one note to the next. Because violin playing, yes, no doubt it's difficult. Playing a note is difficult, but it starts getting really difficult when you're getting from one note to the next, and that's exactly what this focuses on. I'll show you. What you do is you practice repeatedly getting from one note to the next with different rhythms. This is one of my favorite ways of practicing scales, excellent for practicing double stops, excellent for just about any scale work. What you can add to that is to practice what's most difficult and practice that most. most likely you will find the following one most difficult, getting from the third finger to the fourth finger. That's if you practice that in this way repeatedly, then you can minimize the difficulty because you will get more used to it, and then you can integrate it into the scale. So you should be spending most of your time practicing what's most difficult for you. That should be most of your scale practicing time. Now the next step is to slur two notes together without repeating anything. That will be like this. And so on. Now, the point of that is that that's now, if you compare it to the first two methods you did, quite a bit faster. So that means you have less time to hear and correct. So you have to hurry up with listening and hurry up with correcting. Still, if you can't get it right within that time, you can use another bow. But try to listen and correct within the slur of two notes to one bow. Now the next method is to slur four notes to one bow and only do the string crossings in double stops. This is a direct preparation for fast speed, and you will really need quite a fast correction speed for this already. So what you do is you only do the string crossings in double stops, and you slur four to a bow with a comfortable bow speed and a comfortable speed of your fingers. Try to do it I always try to do it as slow as possible, but still getting four decent sounding notes onto my bow, because I know I'll be doing it faster later on. So what I do is something like this. So I hope it was clearly audible that I did the string crossings and double stops, because that's very important, because you need that for the fast scales, otherwise you'll just be late with your fourth finger likely. And you also need it to stabilize your intonation, so do the string crossings and double stops and slur four to a bow and try to correct within that rhythm. Now, as you noticed, I showed most of the methods just with one octave of the 2-octave scale, simply to save time, because it would drive you guys crazy if I practice the scale literally within the video. So what I wanted to do was show you methods of how to practice a scale. If you're interested in this specific scale, I explain it in my video Scales 2. And basically these methods you can use for any scales. You can use them for 3-octave scales, for 4-octave scales, for double stop scales. It doesn't matter. They're very, very helpful. These methods are a preparation for fast speed, and the next video on scales I will be going in how to speed up the scale.